We're now going live to Sausalito, California, where we're joined by journalist, climate activist, and co-founder of GreenTV.com, Betsy Rosenberg. Hello, and thank you for joining us. Sorry under these circumstances.
Thank you for having me. I've been sick about it, like anyone who has been watching what's happening in Maui.
It's so hard. And I know, listen, your background, you were a longtime radio reporter, and you've spent 2 decades now focusing on this issue. I guess you could say you were ahead of your time before it became part of, the everyday conversation about global warming. But what could you tell us, from why you started this 20 years ago? And I bet you're not surprised this has happened.
Not at all. And for those of us who have been shouting from the rooftops that have not had enough solar panels on them over the last couple of decades, this is not exactly what had been predicted, because even the best climate scientists never thought that we would have climate change arriving on our shores this quickly. And when I say our shores, that means worldwide. So this is extremely scary. It is extremely disturbing. It is a big, giant 5-alarm wake-up call. We need to wake up and smell the carbon, the whole world. And we need to make this the most important, urgent issue there is, because if we don't slow this down, too late to stop it, we're going to see more of this. We are going to see more of this anyway, but we can slow down the worst of it and we can minimize the worst of it, but only if we start really making serious attempts to get off fossil fuels. And politics needs to change. Corporate America and corporations across the globe need to take this seriously. The public needs to realize that this is something that's impacting everybody. It's coming for all of us. And
I think it's very interesting and sad. Myself being from California, I have been to Maui many times. I mean, I think you're right about people waking up. I mean, I'm from Southern California. We're used to Santa Ana's and fires, all of that. But Maui is a place, you get off the airplane, it is lush. You smell flowers. There are trees everywhere. How could this happen in a place like Hawaii?
Well, it shows, doesn't it, that it can happen anywhere, and it is going to happen anywhere. And I am from Northern California. We've lived through so many giant fires here, and you look at these poor victims and they're shell-shocked. They don't even know what's happened, what's coming. And I have friends who have lost their homes. Someone else lost a ranch. This goes on and on for years. And the trauma as they start to think about everything that was in their home. And that's just people who lost property, not to mention the 100 or so families who lost family members. It's just devastating. And what people need to realize, this is not natural, right? I grew up in the Bay Area, 80-mile-an-hour winds, which fueled our major fires. Not normal.
It is not normal. I mean, unfortunately, a perfect storm. But listen, again, you've been talking about final thoughts. You've been doing this for 20 years. Do you think this is a wake-up call that could lead to some kind of a collective shift? I mean, even if people are like, I can't do anything, I'm just a person, but everyone who does a little something, like putting plastic in a recycle bin or throwing away plastic forks, can actually make a difference, correct?
Well, every time there's been one of these mega disasters, we climate advocates for change, for action, have said this will wake people up. This will. I mean, remember Hurricane Sandy hit New York, the media capital, financial capital of our country. What will it take? And what people you need to do is, yes, recycle, but that's just the very beginning. We need to drive the most fuel efficient cars we can, build the most energy insulated homes we can, but mostly we need to vote for candidates who are believers of science and climate science. We cannot afford to have anybody at any level of government in there who doesn't realize that this is the existential crisis of our lifetime.
Yes.
And the fact that in the States, we still have media on Fox saying climate change is not real. And that makes people not evacuate as quickly. They don't realize this is not their mother's hurricane or fire. This is a new era, and people need to understand that. And people need to get on board. And if you want to know what to do, that's what we focus on, solutions on GreenTV.com. And there's a lot of resources out there, but please do not look away. Environmentalism and addressing this climate crisis is not a spectator sport.